would you be open to looking at how you can destroy blocks and learn how you can achieve your sales goals and be paid your worth? How's that for a question, Karen? Because some of us, with the clients I work, the word block comes up a lot, and I'm going to share my perspective on overcoming blocks. And while I'm no expert in this area, this is what I've learned to get over that, right?
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Okay, well, guess what? We are at the point in the evening, which is really my favourite point in the evening, where we bring on the guest speaker. And so our guest speaker tonight is a chap by the name of Trevor Russell, who fortunately for us is here. And he runs a business called Results Academy. He's a sales coach and sales trainer. In fact, we share a common history as well too. We discovered that both of us have been in the mortgage broking business in our early years. So hence, I suppose, where some of the sales strategies and information comes from. So Trevor's going to be talking to us tonight about how to turn your social media posting and activity into happy buying customers. So let's put our hands together and welcome Trevor.
Hey, thanks so much, Nick. And wow, I better step up tonight. It looks like I've got some pretty smart people here. So let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll get that going. All good, everyone can see that?
Looks good, Trevor.
They can see the Amway presentation? Well, thanks everyone. So yeah, as Nick shared, what I'd like to talk to you tonight about is how do you convert social media posting activity into happy buying customers? So I'm just going to go through it, and there's lots of great stuff that we're going to do. And the first thing that I would like to do, as I always do, is if you can do this, I can't see you, but, you know, give yourselves a good round of applause and congratulations, because the thing is, as I'm sure all of you would agree, that there is, you know, a lot of good information out there, but to make time at, you know, 7 o'clock in the evening, I greatly appreciate you being here. Thank you. Whether you're here to see me or good looking Nick, maybe that's probably more the reason, but it's a pleasure to be here, and to work on your business is always a sign of extraordinary people. So I'm honored. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So what I'd like to do is, and Nick, is it possible for me, got it, there you go, I can see people. It was just me, and it was kind of like, oh, that was a bit weird just seeing myself. Everyone good? You can all hear me okay? Thumbs up? Yeah, for those I can see, Karen, Michael. Okay, before we get into it, I don't know if you guys, and I imagine some of you have done breath work, but the power of the breath. And before we get into this, because we've got a lot of information, are you guys okay to do a little quick exercise with me, which is really simple to just help us get our focus and energy on? Is that okay, Nick? Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
Thanks, Michael. I'd just like everyone to sit in their chair with their back against the chair. Just get comfortable, both feet on the ground, big smile on your face. Big smile, as smiley as you can be. And I'm just going to ask you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're going to do this 6 times. That's 2. Again, no one faint, please. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Are you ready for an adventure, ladies and gentlemen? And any of you who don't know much about the breathwork thing, I'd highly recommend you look into it, because I see Karen smiling, and I think she must know a bit about breathwork, but learning how to breathe better and doing energy work breathing has changed my life. And if you want more energy and more focus and more confidence to get the job done, look into doing some breath work. And it's so simple, but it's very, very powerful. Okay, but that's another seminar. All right, so respect to all of you. And Nick, I need your help here. This is just going to help us lead into it, and just trust me on this journey. Are you here partly because this topic of getting clients from social media posting caught your eye? If you could tell me, Nick, if anyone has answered yes to that question. And they're not just here for the
chat there. If you just pop it in chat, just pop in maybe just a Y. So getting quite a few yeses here, Trevor.
Okay, very good. Now the next question is, why did this topic spark your interest? I know you might have to type a few little things, but just like to get a little bit of quick feedback on why it sparked your interest. Is it because you want more clients online? If you're struggling with it, you want to be better at it? Just curious to know who's so in the room and what you want.
So we've got Tracy says that she loves learning. Leora, because I'm a lousy salesperson. I'm sure you're not. Leah says I'm a writer, so it'd be great to convert. Dougie says no response. I imagine he's not saying he's not giving any response, but he's getting no response from his postings.
Okay. I get it. Okay, so he's not just saying piss off, guys. I actually am just not getting any response. Okay, that's cool. All right, thank you. That's good. And what I'm going to share with you, there is a little bit of a strategy that some of you may already know that I'm doing as part of this presentation. And I'll tell you later at the end why I did this right up at the front. And Ali G, just respect to all of you, because you're experts in your business and I'm just sharing some things that I know on this side, but I fully honor that you all are good at what you do, and full respect to you. Okay, so I am going to present to you from the Results Academy and Positive Business Online Productions is going to present who's this guy, Trevor Russell. And he's going to be coming on in a moment, and it's a 47 minutes, I think I might have, and it's rated M. And a little bit about this guy, I'm just going to bring this up. And does anyone see, in a way, what I've done here? For any Netflix fans, having a bit of fun here, that just to give you guys a little bit of background on me and who I am. So who's this guy, Trevor Russell? Well, very quickly, so you know who I am and why I'm here and what I do as best as I can is, I actually started way back once upon a time. I'm from Melbourne originally. And when I left high school, I was a graphic designer actually, way before we had computers. And we used to hand draw and design everything. And I ended up working in the nightclub industry, designing all their brochures and artwork. And then I ended up loving it so much. I think I loved the girls more than anything, and started running nightclubs. And that took me down a particular path, which was interesting. But one day I picked up this book by Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. You seen this one, Nick? And I today don't know how I got this book, but it changed my life. And what it really taught me about was manifestation, focus, deliberate intention. And I decided that if I was going to work in the nightclub industry, that I wanted to work for a really good company. I wanted to be trained. I wanted to travel. And I really put all my focus and intention on that. And then lo and behold, one day I got a call and I got offered a job to work for an American nightclub chain called Bobby McGee's. And they shipped me off to LA, where I did my training and lived there for a while. And then they shipped me back to Sydney, and I ran this club and did that for a few years. And it really got me present to the power of manifestation. Now, I did that for a few years and realized one day that the nightclub industry was not going to serve me, looking at the people around me, and I didn't want to be one of those people, if you can get what I mean. And so I went back to college and university and I studied business. And I then ended up going into corporate marketing and advertising for many years. And then I started reading the Robert Kiyosaki books and decided that I wanted to become self-employed and leave a $130,000 job and work for nothing for double the hours. And does anyone know that journey? The entrepreneurial bug bit me. But look, it did get better. I know we have a bigger goal from that. But I ended up, as Nick said, I ended up going into business with some friends in Byron Bay. And then that ran its course and I ended up setting up a mortgage business and I killed it. I did really well because well, I'm going to share with you very quickly, I knew nothing about sales or enrollment back then. And I had degrees and qualifications in business and no one had ever taught me about sales at university or college. I'm sure you can believe that, right? Anyway, so then the GFC hit. I pretty much had to start all over again. Had to sell my mother's home that I bought for her, ended up in hospital with a complete nervous breakdown because you don't ever want to sell your mother's home. Let me tell you, it's not a nice experience. And she didn't have any money and it was terrible, terrible. I would never wish it on anyone ever. So I ended up looking at what I really like. I didn't want to go back to Sydney. I didn't want to go back to mortgages. And I decided I love people. I love business. I love sales and marketing. I know a few things about it, but I decided to buy a business coaching business. And what I realized is I knew jack about sales. Jack. I went to the guy I bought the business off and I said, Nick, I really want to do this. I have no B plan, but I have never really sold anything, you know, other than I can go get prospects for my mortgage business. But corporate marketing, I just wrote marketing strategy. I never had to really sell anything. And he said, don't worry, I'll teach you. And he did teach me a beautiful way to sell and consultatively enroll people in what we do. And as part of my presentation tonight, I'm going to open the door to share with you what he taught me and the changes that it's made for me and my clients in my life personally. So anyway, this brings me to now. I work in business. I do a lot of sales training and coaching, and I'm going to jump into it and we'll continue. So can we give this guy the thumbs up and move on? Yes, let's do it. All righty, let's go. Are we in the right room? Yes, we want to convert your social media posting into more happy buying customers. Yes, Trevor, we want to destroy, well, this is my asking, if you're in the right room, would you be open to looking at how you can destroy blocks and learn how you can achieve your sales goals and be paid your worth? How's that for a question, Karen? Because some of us, with the clients I work, the word block comes up a lot. And I'm going to share my perspective on overcoming blocks. And while I'm no expert in this area, this is what I've learned to get over that, right? Then we'll have some fun. We've got some, I am very pleased to say I have written a book over COVID. Well, actually, I finished the book over COVID, which I'm going to talk more about. I want customer sales and money today. I know you guys don't need any customer sales and money today, but maybe you might know someone that you might want to get a copy to, but we'll talk more about that later. And I really want to help you lead with life-changing tools and methods so you can all go and get more of what you want. Shall we do this? Let's do this. Yes? Okay, let's do it. All right. So here I want to talk about for tonight, because look, we obviously only have a small amount of time and we can only cover so much. So these are what I've decided to pick out of my process, which I've called the 7 hot spots in my process, which I'll share with you on how people are converting people from social media posting and activity into buying customers. And these are my picks for tonight. Why they do things through fear. In other words, why do they go and take the action while they have fear, which is what they do. Okay, and we're going to build on all of these. They decide and they know what they want, whether it's the sales goal, the money goal, or whatever goal it is. They know the target that they want. They are fishing. In other words, they are marketing. And in my training, I say, ideally be good at fishing in at least 3 ponds. In other words, we'll talk more about that. But where are you fishing for your prospective people? And tonight is very much about the fishing pond of social media. Okay. Then they do the activity. And as I say, connect with care. And then how we convert prospects with skill, which is the opening the door tonight for you on a sales system that I use for how we connect with prospective clients and convert them into happy buying clients. Excited, very excited about that, because it might only make you about $1 million, right? If you're up for a bit more money, okay? and believe in what they are selling. They believe in what they are selling, and they ask for the business, they get the yes, and they do memorable work and deliver on their promise. Okay, so they're my 7 picks for tonight. So Nick, can you just unmute yourself a minute and just tell me, is that all coming through okay and you can hear me?
All coming through loud and clear, Trevor.
Very good, thank you. I just needed to hear a human voice for a minute. All right. And did I tell you how amazing you all look this evening? Very good, thank you. Okay, what I want to put as an addendum, this is not a work 1 hour a week or year and make hundreds of thousands of dollars coming into your bank account while you sleep on the beach and sunbake all day. This is not that, okay? And whenever you see that, it's all a load of garbage, as you all know, right? To date, I have worked with hundreds of businesses, and I know many of you have. These type of things are for the weak-minded, hoping to take the pill, and they lose all the weight, become taller, younger, slimmer. It just doesn't happen, not in my world. And I'm also not a funnel expert. I'm not going to tell you the 47 ways to build a lead funnel. My approach is very, very simple. And all I'm going to say is take what you want, leave what you don't. I'll open the door to share some ways that we can talk further if you'd like. But just to be really honest with you, what it is and what it isn't. Okay? All right. Tonight's 7 hots comes from a process that I have developed over the last few years. Because let me ask you, and you don't have to, you can just process it. We have so many choices out there. We have, do I do Facebook marketing? Do I do Instagram? Do I do LinkedIn? Do I get a telemarketer? Do I do email campaigns? Now, we can do all these things, right? But what I decided to do was to try and put a structure together. So when I look at my business, and me being a business sales growth expert is where I have really put my positioning these days. I'm a bit of a systems guy, and I decided I wanted to be able to sit with a client or myself and know where they are at, what the gaps could be so we could fill them so they can achieve whatever goal they want for their business. So this year, I will be sending Nick some stuff to forward to you, and I'll put some details. But it's a card here that I've developed, and it's a system. But tonight, we are going to talk about these 3 areas. We're going to talk about where we're catching customers, the activity that we do, and how we enroll them, okay? And the other parts, we don't have time, but that will be more than enough for the time that we've got for you to leave with some great tools and value. Okay, so let's continue. Just give me 1 sec, guys, excuse me.
Okay, while Trevor's ducked off, just talk amongst yourselves.
I just forgot my water.
And any questions that you've got along the way, just drop them into chat and I'll monitor that on the way through. And if there's anything there that we need to answer right away, I'll just let Trevor know.
Yeah, thank you. And what I'm going to do, Nick, every few slides, there's a check-in and review, questions, what are we learning? So we'll do that if anyone wants to ask me anything. Okay. The first thing is, while you probably or may not have even considered that we would have this discussion, one of the things that I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen, more so than ever is, and it's going to be a little bit of bitter medicine, this part, but then we'll get the bitter medicine out of the way and then we can get into the fun stuff. The problem with so many of us in lots of different ways at different levels is this thing called fear. And the fear is the killer of dreams. And what is it that we firstly need to know if we want better results around this thing, fear? So I am going to put quite a bit of attention on this emotion tonight, because this is where I find the rubber really hits the road when we can bash through this wall to blue skies and better business and better lives. So please respectfully know that I share all of this from a place of love to have all of you be able to get more of what you want. So if I'm a bit hard and a bit direct in some areas, it's because sometimes I know for me and people that I work with, we need a bit of a rattle to realize the truth of what fear is and what it isn't, so we can get what we want. So let's continue. What are fears? Fear of rejection, fear of others' opinions, fear of You know, I say that we're going to talk a bit about this tonight, the messaging, the calling. Oh, I don't feel very comfortable about messaging and calling. And as I say to my client, to myself, I didn't say anything about it being comfortable. But what I did say is, what can we do to help more people and get a result, right? Because in our country, ladies and gentlemen, what I see in my world in this area, and I'm some weirdo, decided to pick sales strategy seriously. I should have picked Facebook and I'd probably be making double the money, but this is my thing, right? So the fear that stops us, fear of change, fear. I have worked with companies that are going broke and they are so afraid of change, they will go broke instead of changing. And it can have to do with this word called EGO. Maybe some people have heard of that word, especially with a lot of older, no disrespect guys, a lot of older gentlemen that I've worked with that have been in business a long time. And this guy comes in and says, we've got to shut that division down. We've got to change that. They do that. It's like, who are you little blonde idiot from the Gold Coast telling me how to change my $1 million business, right? But it's tough to change. The fear of change, fear of discussing money, the fear of talking about what we charge and what it is that people are going to get, fear of getting paid. I've got one person that we were talking about this the other day. She's got a lot of fear around discussing invoices and getting paid, and the fear of friggin' fear, blah, 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 all the fears, right? So on this topic, I really want to get you all thinking about tonight, and we're going to do an exercise in a minute about the straight up cost of what fear is doing. And when it comes to social media and what I'm going to show you, I'm going to suspect that it is going to push your fear buttons if you feel there's value in this, and going to do it is going to bring up some emotion, but we'll get to that. And this is what I want to say. It is time to consider what is fear costing you and us, and it has to stop. I know this is pretty harsh, but if you're in struggle and if you want more money and you want more clients, to be really direct with you, there is good business out there. It is a little bit more interesting at the moment because of COVID, but this is now the time for us to really look at this and really decide what is it that we are willing to confront to go and do more of what we want to do, succeed, whatever our goals are. So that is a big hit right up front on the fear topic. All right. So let's continue. Steve Jobs. I was watching an interview the other day, just randomly this popped up while I was putting this presentation together, but we know about the power of serendipity, don't we, Karen? You'll attract what you're working on. The reason why most people will struggle and never achieve their full potential is because of fear. He said, people are even afraid of picking up the phone. That is the world we live in, guys. And I know I live in it. I struggle with it myself. And I'm not saying we need to be Steve Jobs, but what I'm going to talk about is if we've got a Titanic that's constantly hitting icebergs or heading towards one, we don't have to turn it like a speedboat in a second, but you may want to consider from tonight, some things might need to move to get to clear, safe waters. And a big part of it could be looking at the fear cost. Okay, let's move on. How can we smash through fear? Who would like to know? Yes? Anyone interested? Okay. We're going to play a game, all right? Now, this is an interactive part, and if you've got a pen and paper, great. If you don't, well, you don't, but I want you to at least think about it, because here's the other thing around fear. It could even stop you from doing this because you might go, oh, I don't really know. I promise you, you're in a safe room. This is really easy and fun. Okay. Who would like to destroy your fear brick blocks? In other words, the brick wall that we want to smash through and really break that. And this is one of many exercises. This is just a really simple one to help you get through it. So tomorrow you can go do what you'll share in a minute. Okay. So if you had no fear, ladies and gentlemen, what would be one thing that you would do tomorrow? I'll give you one that I did last week. I had a fear around reaching out to some companies that I did not know, and I wanted to introduce myself to them. Wanted to do it through LinkedIn and introduce myself and present the offer to go and provide a free training to them and their team on this whole thing around how businesses can grow sales and succeed through COVID. And that was a goal that I had, and that was one of my fears. And I'll tell you in a minute what happened from doing that. Okay, now here's the more important thing about this game, Nick. Who is going to share what they would do in the comments? Let's see who's courageous in the room.
So we've got a couple coming through in comments now. So we've got Tony, I struggle with phone calls. Claudia, yes, Facebook Live.
Hang on a sec. So Tony is phone calls. Claudia is Facebook Live.
So obviously doing a Facebook Live. Yep.
Yep.
Leah says, I followed up with a couple of people. So it's obviously busting through some fear.
Okay.
Leora, I would open an art gallery shop.
Okay.
And Martin says, following up on previous rejections.
Okay.
Michael,
Who said that?
That was Martin.
Martin. And following up on previous no's.
On previous no's, yep. And
Okay.
Michael says, I'm not quite sure what that means. Time or lack of it. Time must be time or lack of it.
So he's got fear around not having enough time.
Not having enough time. Yep, sounds like it. Tracy says tech, fear of tech. That's a big one. Donalda, she seconds the Facebook Live, fear of that. And she's also tech as well too, fear of tech. And Beth is Facebook Live as well. And the launch of the new side of her business.
Who was that? The last person was Beth, did you say?
That was Beth, yeah.
And what did Beth say? The launch of her business.
Launch of the new side of her business. So the new business she's developing.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your courageous sharing, because that, to me, is the first sign that you're willing to even push through this stupid monkey fear emotion, because you're willing to share and contribute. And that is the thing that will lead into what we're going into next, ladies and gentlemen, is we have got to get out of the starting blocks. We've got to be willing to accept that it's about sharing. It's about looking at what it is that we want, and we're going to talk about it. And also know no one cares. No one cares. No one cares whether you call them or don't call them or show them. Look, I'm talking about people care and love us, our family and friends. But if you've got that fear and consideration of what people may think of you, I will tell you, I'm a mind reader. They're not thinking about you. You're all off the hook, okay? What are people thinking about, Nick?
They are thinking about what they're going to have for dinner, that they didn't have enough sleep.
And when's this idiot going to get off this freedom webinar?
Exactly, think about their own fears.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to continue on with this little game. The next thing that we're going to do is, so you've written it in the chat, and it's called, I play this with my clients and myself, and it's called Let's Play a Game. Okay, do you all want to play a game? Are you ready? Yes? For whatever you've written down, I'm going to request that you go tomorrow, and I'm going to give you some tools today, and go just do what it is that you said you're afraid to do, and just in there says, see what happens. Just go see and experience what happens, okay? Because, does that all make sense, everyone? Now, why do I say this? Because firstly, your mission is to do through fear. Because what I want to let you off the hook on, ladies and gentlemen, having studied a lot around this, is very often we never lose fear. And a lot of you would know what I'm about to say. Fear is with us to protect us from a perceived danger that doesn't exist in our world. Standing on the edge of a cliff on a windy day is something to be scared of. But messaging someone to discuss if and how you could help them or have a conversation, I'm going to assure you, you will not die. You will not die. To date, I have not died. to date, all of you have done things that have scared you. You've lived, okay? So why I'm really pushing you in a loving way to really get this tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want you, I'm going to actually NLP you now. I'm going to say, the great thing about what you're learning here is you are going to look back from this one exercise and you are going to go and do all the things that really scare you and realize that you're going to do it from a place to just see what happens. How exciting is that? And in the 6 human needs, part of the human needs is to seek adventure. So I would like to add, treat it like an adventure. You do not need to do a full-blown presentation. You do not need to sell them anything. You do not need, if it's about contacting people, you do not need to know all the ins and outs. All I want you to do, if it's the Facebook Live, Leah, is to do it and just see what happens. If it's Tony, to make the phone call, to just see what happens. And I'm going to give you guys some tools and ways to do some things related to calls and other bits and pieces and make myself available to have a chat. But is everyone up for this challenge, ladies and gentlemen? Please say yes. Yes? Nick, good? Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Actually, no, let's move on because I've got question bit. What is the last thing there? Yeah, that's right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bit of language that I use, and you can take this if you want to use it. When you speak to someone and you speak to your own brain, this is what I do to push through this. I say, I would like to reach out to Beth because I would like to find out if and how I may be able to help her. I want to reach out to Michael and I just would like to find out if and how I might be able to help him. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Does anyone see the value in that psychology? And is anyone willing to share on what that I could be doing there? There's a lot of power in that one little bit, if you can see that. Nick?
So we've got coming up, yes, it's offering support from Leora. Claude says it's supporting. Leah says solving their problems.
Great. So I'm going to give you, that is right, and I'm going to add to it. The biggest challenge that the fear brain will do to us is it will try and give us a reason to not do something that really confronts us. And this is just a way to say, when I first got into business coaching, I had this belief that I needed to transform my clients' businesses by at least 100%. And my trainer, coach, mentor, Nick said, Trevor, if you can go in and work with someone and make it firstly through the process, learn what it is that they want and what it is that you can help with. And if you can make it 30% better than where they're at, firstly, that will well and truly pay for you. And secondly, you just want to find out in the beginning if and how you can help. You may not be able to help them. It might not be the right air conditioner. You might not be the right NLP coach for them. You might not be the right digital marketer for them, but it's about finding out. And you'll get crickets. You'll get some people that won't reply. You'll get some people say no. But through this, you will have, if this is helpful, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have more courage to do it. But we've got to move on. We've got more to do. Okay, the next thing is, thank you for listening to me on that. I hope you found some value in that. If you don't already know, or you do, and this is a good reminder, very, very often we don't even know what we're going for, or we've made a decision to go for it. I know that seems really simple, but very often when I sit with a client, and even myself, I've been doing this over COVID, because I'm going to be honest, when that thing first hit, my whole business stopped. It really did, really shook me up. And so what I decided was, okay, what is the amount of money that I want to make and use this time for my little training, coaching, consulting business to go and figure out how to make, and why do I want it? So I came up with my figure, and then I started working on the plan, and I'm still going on it. But all I'm saying is, for those of you who already get this, it's a good reminder. All I want to reinforce is, if we looked into your computer or we had a chat, could you tell us what you want? How much do you want in money, if it's money? How much do you want in clients, if it's clients? How much do you want in sales? Or whatever your goals or wants are. Because I know this sounds so simple and like, you know, it's a bit like, you know, exercise 3 times a week, eat 3 good meals a day and you'll be fit and healthy. Yet people seem to struggle with that, right? It's the same with this wanting. But so the question is, if it's yes for you, great, good on you. If it's no, why don't you know? Why haven't you decided? Is it fear? Have you been too busy? Maybe as, who was it said about time, not enough time? Well, it might mean about the schedule or don't know how. That's fair enough too. But it's very important to decide if you're going to be prospecting on social media, why do you want to do it? And what do you want from it? Yeah. And decide, write it, figure it out, what it is that you want. I know this sounds really nerdy, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not showing off because I know there's people better at it than me. I have under my mouse mat, these are my goals and what I want and what I'm working on. And I'm telling you not to show off. I'm not just showing this to show off. I'm telling you because I friggin' hate doing it. I hate it. I'm not a super detailed guy, but I do it because it just helps me to move my intention to where it is that I want to go. And it gives me some peace of mind in a very stressful time. And it's worked very often for me. And I do a lot of this with my clients because it's very hard to sometimes sit down and decide what you want, right? And the other thing is to decide what you want without knowing how, because here, as I say, let the magic happen. Has anyone made a decision, didn't know how you were going to make it, but you achieved the goal because you decided? Is anyone willing to share that, Nick?
Maybe just pop it in chat. I know that I have. So Tony says, absolutely. You know, the most powerful thing, I think, Trevor, that I've done, you know, as soon as I've set a goal, is to immediately take action on it. And the interesting thing that happens out of that is that it's not about the achievement of it at all, but it's about what I learn through that. So as soon as you take action, ask a question, do something, all of a sudden you sort of learn some things about either what you do want, what you don't want, how to get there, and really how you do it, you know, how to get there starts to reveal itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds a bit woo-woo, but, you know, it's
not.
It just sort of happens.
I heard that. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, Nick.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's not the goal. It's the person we become to achieve the goal. Because if we're uncomfortable doing something that we know we want to go and get, it's because we haven't got it yet, right? But as anyone who knows how we learn anything, it's always going to be uncomfortable. But let's continue because I've got a lot to show you. So you can have
just one comment here, Trevor, and that was Leah says, yes, she transcended herself. I transcended myself. So,
beautiful. Yeah. Thanks, Leah. And you deserve to have all you want, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's a big statement there, but I think a lot of us in this world of glitz and glamour and lots of insecurity, I'm done with it, honestly. And I'm just saying, if our intentions are honorable, we're willing to do good work for good products and services that provide value, we deserve to have all that we want for our hard work and labor, because I know we've got a lot to do. And that's my little pitch from loving you guys from me to you. Okay, there is plenty for everyone. There's plenty for everyone. Okay, and this doesn't always go down well at times. I've had people say, but you don't know my situation. You don't know what my wife's like or my girlfriend's like. And I'm still going to say, if it's to be, it's up to who?
Me.
Me. It is up to me, right? Okay, let's get into some fun. All right, anyone willing to do some dancing like that? Michael, you ready for that? Let's move on. Now, I'm going to get into the marketing and converting now. So really quickly, if you want more fish, would it be valid to go fishing more? I know that sounds a bit silly, right? But the other thing around fear is, and thanks so much for sharing fear, is if we want more customers and clients and funny term fish, we need to be fishing. Now, some people, when you say to them, and we don't need huge budgets because we're not all in bigger business. A lot of us are in micro businesses, but you know, doing the email campaign, doing the posts, getting more specific. And it's not always easy to do because the fear monkey of judgment comes up and putting yourself out there. But I'm saying again, that is the next battle as part of this push through that brick wall, is be willing to do the marketing, be willing to push it out there. My good friend and colleague, David Letizia, I think, is on this webinar, and David helped me and he set up all my CRM. That guy has got a lot of patience because I've really been pushing through my own fear to do some more email marketing and learning the Keep CRM. But I just want to say thank you to David, because I've been doing that to overcome my fear to do more email marketing and, you know, to eat that frog, let's say, and push through the brick wall. So now the question is, if you want more customers and clients from your social media marketing, my world, I say, what are your 3 ponds that you're either fishing in or could be fishing in? Now, when I say ponds, for me, clearly tonight we're talking about social media, but as we all know, our ponds could be our database, it could be networking, it could be speaking, it could be Facebook ads, it could be LinkedIn ads, it could be YouTube. Who's willing to share some of their ponds out there for us, Nick?
All right, so maybe just...
Where are people fishing and marketing for their clients?
Maybe just pop it into Facebook, what your ponds are. Okay, so we've got Google, Instagram, and Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn.
So all the good social media platforms.
I would add in Meetup. Meetup's one of mine.
Yeah, cool. Good one. Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks for sharing. So very important that if we want fish, we need to have the lines in the water and be fishing, and it sounds like we're all doing that, which is great. So now, okay, before we get into my observation of, in my simple way of converting, this is a quick case study I want to share with you about how not to convert prospects to buying clients, or how to do it less than efficiently. Now, this company, I'm not going to mention their name, and I am sure they are doing just fine and making lots of money. But if they are working on the traditional digital marketing conversion of, say, 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, with this one little tweak and change, my recommendation from the work I do with my digital marketing clients in this area to improve conversions could have a dramatic difference. Now, this company, very interestingly, the gentleman who runs this company, I'm not going to mention his name, you may figure it out. He runs ads on YouTube saying certain things about, are you just, you know, shooting shotguns out there trying to get clients? And it's so interesting what he's done in his own business to do the exact same thing that he's saying all us idiots do, right? So here's what he did. He's gone and spent gazillions running YouTube ads. He got my attention, actually. So what did I do? I registered and attended the supposed live webinar, which was clearly recorded. So a bit of a no-no, bit of an, a bit of an unethical thing there, but I get, you know, he's doing his thing and that's fine. But you know what? The webinar got me, and I was actually interested in learning more. Now, here's the thing. What do you think I got after attending the webinar in my inbox? Anyone willing to guess? Michael, what Michael said something?
Email.
How many do you think?
1, 2 every day.
Let's try 5 a day, right?
No.
Jokingly, but a lot, right? Now, here's the thing. I get it, but I ended up turning the emails off because it was out of control. It was out of control. But then I got this one day, and it said, hey, Trevor, are you still looking for ways to get new customers? Regards, his name. Now, I felt like replying and saying, no, I'm not, but it looks like you are. But I didn't, because that would be a bit rude. Now, what could have we done here to get a slightly different result? Do you want me to tell you? Or do you want to firstly have a go? Step 1, ran the ad, got my attention. Clearly, I'm his target market. Lots of emails, got this. And I'll tell you what happened after this, but yeah, what could have been done a bit differently?
So Leah says connect.
Connect, yes. How could have he connected? Okay, all good. This is what I'm going to suggest from my approach. I would have gotten, whether it was me or my team, if I, was working here or doing this approach. Now I would have seen all the people that would have attended that webinar, right? Now I would have probably sent them one email and I would have said, hey, Trevor, thank you so much for making the time to join our webinar. What I've done is I've attached a quick tip sheet on how you can get XYZ doing ... some sort of valuable gift. And then I said, and if you would like, what I'm going to do as a matter of course, I will give you a call to check in and say hello, because we do what we call an XYZ strategy session to find out why you attended the webinar and see if and how we might be able to help you achieve your goals, get what you want, fix what it is, and send it off. Now, three things from that. Firstly, I write the email in a way where I say, as a matter of course, I will give you a call. However, if you want to call me first, you're more than welcome, but I know how busy we all get, so I will just try and call you anyway. Hope you enjoy the cheat sheet I've given you and look forward to chatting to you to see, why you attended the webinar, and we can talk about what we can do. Now, I know I just said a lot in those words. Did anyone hear what I've done there? Willing to share, or Nick, just quick debrief, just to make it quick?
Yeah, so...
Yep.
Yeah, while we're waiting, you've made it more about them. So, and asking them a question there, you're giving them something. So they've given you their time. You're now giving them something in return. So that works in terms of the principle of reciprocity in Robert Cialdini's book.
Yep.
We've got Michael says giving value. Beth says by personalising it, you make it less salesy. Alicia says offering more value. Michael says getting to know the prospect. Claude says building trust.
Yes, you all get an A+, exactly. Now, there's one thing that's going to make a few people's hair curl a little bit. And that will be, even if we don't get a reply, in my approach, or telling someone to do this, I would be calling this person, even if I don't hear back from them. I will call them, and well, actually, the first thing that I'll do is with my wonderful supersonic David, who sets up my emails, if they click on anything in the email, I know who's clicked in the email, and I'll just let that secret out now. And so I can see they've done something, even if they don't reply. And now this is what I do. When I send email campaigns and I can see people click, I will give them a call. I won't tell them that I've seen they've clicked, but you don't need to even have that technology. You can just eat the frog and just call them and say, hi, Karen, it's Trevor here from digital marketing. Did you get my email that I sent you? Yes, no. Have you got a few minutes? Can we chat now or maybe another time? I'd really like to see why you joined the webinar and see if there's a way that we might be able to be of service to you. Yeah? Will I die?
You're still here today.
What if they say, no, we're all good? Will I die?
There'll be no death.
What if they don't answer the call? Will I die?
No, I think you'll carry on.
What if they say, yes, thank you so much, Trevor. That would be wonderful. I can't talk now, later, or yes, let's do it. Will I live?
The sense of ecstasy and euphoria will set in. Someone said yes.
That's right. So what I'm really trying to do, I know I'm being a bit dramatic, guys, but what I'm saying is, yes, there is some languaging structure that needs to occur. That clearly I do this every day, and just, but you don't even have to be that technical. If you give them a little gift, just kind of be willing to have a little bit of courage to be willing to reach out, even if they don't hear from you, because many of you could probably relate to this. And I know you could, Nick. Very often, have you emailed someone, they haven't replied, but you've called them and they said, can I tell you, I have been meaning to call you, but I just have been busy. Yeah.
Had that.
So the worst case, yeah, you got it, right? So guys, just a quick thing about the importance of seeing this all the way through, because this guy, rest in peace, died after this email. It could have gone on to possibly be a possible new client for them, or it could have been something else. But all I'm saying is to see, and I'm sure this guy's doing just fine who owns his company. By the way, he looks on the internet, he's got more money than I ever probably will. But all I'm saying is, as a case study, it could even be better. He might own 3 mansions instead of 2. Okay, so let's move on. All right.
There's just one comment here that I thought was interesting, Trevor, and that was from Leah. I think, yeah, who said, you know, when you're making all those phone calls and you do get those no's and they don't pick up and all that sort of time, she says, after time, I think it impacts on your self-esteem.
Very good. Thank you, Leah. So would you like a cure or to lower that self-esteem effect? Yes, I'm sure she'll say yes. Yeah. The first thing is that I would ask is, and I'm not saying this is you, Leah, but when I've heard this before, and I'm not going to say you, but let's say the person who asks that, are they actually doing the calls to get the experience of the hitting of the esteem, or is it a perception of what will happen? Because very often people fear will say, oh, but it won't be good for my self-esteem and it'll be upsetting. And I say to them, how many calls did you do this week? And they go, oh, I didn't do any. I just thought about doing it. So I'm not saying that's you, Lee, because I think if you're the Leah, I know that it is. I would imagine that you're doing it. But what I would say is this, and I learned this off a gentleman, I can't remember his name at the moment. His name is Thomas M. Redmond Jr. Saw him on a talk. He's an American guy. I called him. We had a chat. Lovely guy. Retired. Wrote this book called Selling from the Inside Out. He gave me a little formula, which is called the 5 by 5. He said, when you're in prospecting mode, you don't do 20 calls a day. You don't do 50 calls a day, especially if you're a small business owner. The maximum emails and contacts you're allowed to do is 5. That's the maximum. What do you think of that advice, Nick?
I think that's great because it's not overwhelming. You can do that and it's achievable.
Exactly. And I've even gotten myself and clients to make 1 call an email a day, because even 1 for someone who wants a better result, how many is that a week? That's 5 a week. How many is that a month? That's 20 a month. Now, some of us can't even cope with probably more than 4 or 5 clients anyway. So 20 nice, well-structured introduction calls and conversations is very often all the people need to get their business moving forward. I've got a lovely couple that I'm about to talk to you about in a moment. They went and did this. They reached out to 20 people. They've got 3 conversations going now. It's not like the earth is going to shift off its axis, but it's a beautiful new result from where they were before, because now they're learning a skill and a process. So this is a little example of some messages that I've done to open some doors to getting clients. Message every person who liked or commented on your post, and you could say something like this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying you need to write a book. There are a lot of different ways, as we know, to get people's attention, but we do need to be on guard and awake and looking at what people are doing, as opposed to just like and we like back. If we're in prospecting activity mode, we're in the business of connecting with people to explore what it is that they're doing and how we can help them. This lovely lady here commented on my book, and I replied and I said, thank you so much. How is business going in these times for you? I've got a few things that are helping wellness experts to engage more clients. If you wanted to have a chat, and it would also be a pleasure to hear more about what you're up to. And it went on to say, why don't we book in a time and chat? And she came back and said, that would be really nice, actually. I'm busy for a few weeks, but why don't we stay in touch? I replied and said, yes, I'll keep in touch. Now, what do you think little Trevor Russell did with that bit of information? It went in a diary. And this lovely lady I will reconnect with on that date, and I will keep going till it either goes somewhere to a yes or a no. But that's just me, because the way I look at each of these people, for me and my small business, is this is business for me to help people, and also to be able to do the work that I love, and make some money too. Is nice, right? This lovely lady here in my Facebook group, I was developing the 7-pillar process, and I just came up with this and sent it as a bit of an idea. And I ended up getting 3 clients or 2 clients with this, because I only did this a little while ago because I was reviewing my process. And I said, hi, her name, thanks for sharing in the group. I'm currently refining my business review, sales growth planning process. Would you mind if I took you through it, see if it's working? It's on me. We would need about 45 minutes to an hour. Can do over Zoom or phone. I'll do my best to make it a valuable use of your time. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday, be a pleasure to speak to you. Excuse me, Trevor. She said yes. We had what I call is my consult to enroll conversation. And this lovely lady and her husband that I work with, we did business and, brought some money into my business. So this is where it started. Did I feel a bit uncomfortable? Yes. Did I want to be of service? And that's what I was thinking to help them, which is thinking about what it is that you would be thinking about when you're reaching out, which I'm hearing from all of you, is to be of service, to connect, and to get some conversations going to see if you can do business. Okay? Nothing too threatening or salesy or pushy about any of that? No? I hope not. Okay? Now, apart from the cheesy, stupid photo, excuse that, this is another one of the steps that I followed to engage a client from converting a post on social media into a paying client. Now, the addendum is with this story is, I'm just going to be straight and say sometimes we are more awake and hungry than other times. And for me, in this time, I wanted to be and needed to be awake because I'm hungry. I want my business to work, and I had to find the push in this time because it went to crickets for a lot of people. COVID hit, and I thought, I want to be working. I want to do whatever I can. Now, this gentleman commented on my book post that I put on LinkedIn, and we had a proposal in place ages ago. So I thought, what a nice way to connect with him, to say thank you for commenting on the book. I got on the call and thanked him, and I said, while I've got you, would it be okay to have a chat about our proposal and see if there might be a way that we could look at commencing that if and when it's the right time? Now, what do you think he might have said, Nick?
He said, sure, why not?
He did. And he also said, well, it's funny that you called because I've just been thinking about it's probably time to do that. Okay? So guys, all I'm saying is, this is not groundbreaking 400 leads a day. This is micro, taking care of one person at a time as a couple of strategies. But what I do know is if you're enrolling even, 25 people at $500, that's $12,500. Now, I know for some people, if you did that over 3 months, that can make a huge impact on your bank account and your stress levels. So I'm not saying you need to go and have loads and be charging thousands and thousands of dollars, but it is working the pathway. Okay. I'm going to, actually, before I go into this story, has anyone want to ask me anything, share anything quickly, Nick, before I share this next case study?
All right, so just drop it into chat if anyone's got anything. One thing I would say, Trevor, is I think that what you're talking about is it just feels so achievable. So it's not an overwhelming thing that we often get from business coaches and people online.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. And that is why I really worked hard to put this together, because I realized the overwhelm, and even for me, I can be a bit too detailed at times, and I'm constantly trying to simplify it because it can be overwhelming, right, guys? And we want simple as we can with all that we've got to manage. So it looks like maybe someone's made a comment here. Did someone share something?
There's a couple there. Beth says she's got a short story about reaching out to someone through fear. So I wonder whether we might just unmute her and she can share that. You happy to do that,
I'd
Beth?
love to hear that.
Thank you, Nick. It's a bit of a funny one, actually. I had an idea for a body painting project that I wanted to do, and there was only one other person that I could think of in the world who had done anything like it, and he's kind of cream of the crop as far as face and body artists go. People worship the ground he walks on and all that sort of stuff. And he lives in New Orleans and he has a gallery over in New Orleans. And I decided, screw it, I'm going to look up his phone number and ring him.
Boom.
So I did. I rang him and he happened to be in the gallery that day. He answered the phone and I ended up talking to him for 2.5 hours about my project. He was so lovely to chat to and so happy to share his thoughts, and he even gave me a few more ideas with regards to my project. It kind of was something that I sat there for a little while on first. I'm like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to ring this guy? He doesn't know me from a bar of soap. I'm just a nobody. But I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. So I did. And it was the most liberating experience because the reaction was just so positive. I think I walked away with the biggest smile on my face I've ever had.
Well,
it's worthwhile.
Thank you, Beth. And I really want to say, by the way, would you like me to mail you a copy of a book?
I'd love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll get your details later and get a copy, and I'll be giving a few more away later, guys, for you. But great sharing. Now, there was a couple of things that Beth shared in that. For any of you who've done this, and I know a lot of you would have, say this respectfully, when we go do something like that, even if it goes nowhere, the elation that you have and the feeling of joy is beyond description, as I think you could all sense with Beth. But the other thing is, I want to add this, ladies and gentlemen. We are all in the business of representing good products and services, I would imagine, to either, consumers or other business people. And this is what I've learnt to date. If you're a business person, and especially I'm going to say to me, because I generally will do more business to business work, anytime with the right intention, you reach out to another person with the intention to discuss if and how you could possibly do business together. Firstly, if they're a good business person, whether they want to work with you or not, they'll respect it. Because secondly, no one does it. No one does it, ladies and gentlemen. In Australia, you think about how often, I'm not talking telemarketers, I'm talking people that have reasonable to substantial businesses contact you to have a discussion to see if and how they could work or do something together. It doesn't happen. I'd be happy to be made wrong with that, but I cannot remember the last time someone called me and said, hey, Trevor, could I run this by you, see if this might be something you're interested in? I can't remember. There's so much opportunity out there, it's scary. So let's get back to it.
Hey, Trevor, your screen's just gone.
I know,
I
did that. Yeah.
Oh, you did, great. Okay, and we've probably got about 5 minutes.
Okay, so really quickly here, this lady, Jess Williamson, how does she convert social media buying customers? I call her a warrior. Her why is to own her own business, and she wanted to get out of the mines. She kind of stumbled on this cosmetic tattooing, which is tattooing men's scalps so they look like they've got a shaved head. This type of cosmetic work is just going through the roof because, it's a crappy thing losing your hair as a man for some, and this is really helping them with their esteem. But it's one thing to have a good product or service. It's another thing to see it all the way through. She targets her clients on Instagram. She knows who they are, their age bracket. She runs ads. She posts the ads, so she's fishing constantly. They contact her, and guess what she does? She calls them. She has a personal discussion with them. She finds out what they want. She has an engaged talk, and she enrolls them, as in my language, into a $1,500 to $3,000 cosmetic tattooing program. And she does her work, and this is the strategy she uses as one way to convert. Now, there's her colleagues or her industry people that say there's no business out there, right? So why is it that she does well and they don't? Because they're not running ads, they're not taking the calls, they're not having good, healthy conversations, and they're not hungry and driven and decisive in making it work, okay? Now, I've got plenty more case studies, and I've got a few more if I'll move through quickly. This is something I'm seeing a lot, and this may be you may be able to relate to this. Would you like one simple secret to shift how you're doing things so you can get more lots, more client sales and money? And I assume the answer is yes. We've got two people, and isn't it funny, Karen is an NLP, and I'm not saying this is you, Karen, but let's use this as an example. Person one, well-trained already, NLP therapist, wants more client sales and money, and what he does behind closed door is says, I will study, practice, and apply and try and do my best by studying more NLP techniques, how to provide my clients with more strategies and methods, maybe do my masters of NLP, and then I'll be able to be even better at it. That's one person. The other person says, I will study, practice, and apply and do my best to study marketing and how to sell myself and my services with skill, how to find and attract people I would like to help, and how to connect with them and speak and enroll them as clients. Which one do you think is going to get more clients and money? Two. Now, no disrespect to anyone, guys, but eventually, if business growth is important to you, you are smart enough. Another MBA will not give you more money and clients. You've got to study the sales and marketing, and I just don't know how to deliver it in any other way. If you can relate to this, okay? Bit of medicine, but it's the truth, okay? Let's move on, because I've got a lot to share with you, and I've run way out of time. This is the convert to converter client process I teach people, which is really teaching you to be a doctor of your own business in how you connect with a prospect and you sell them into or convert them into buying clients. Clearly, we're out of time, but what I would say is, if you don't know how to meet with a prospect and convert them into happy buying clients, this is what you must study. You must know how you can sit with a prospect and convert them as good as you are at your technical skills. It's just, if you're good at it, great. But that is what we must do. And these are some people I've helped. I'll keep moving. This is another gentleman, plenty of stories, obviously. This guy here, Jason Schultz, digital marketer, was doing a newsletter to his database on converting 2 to 3 sales out of 10. We did the consult and enroll training and this training together, 7 to 8 out of 10. Him and his team started converting. And I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this because this is a beautiful result, 300% increase, because they learn how to sell, guys, really, in a consultative manner, right? Now, look, I'm going to be really honest with you on the money. I think he paid about $3.5 grand for me to train him and his team. And I think he made about $26,000 in increased sales just by learning how to convert more effectively. Work with me, don't work with me. I'm just saying that is the importance of learning these skills, guys, if growth is important. Okay, I'm going to move on. If anyone wants to get some inspiration, I actually use this guy very often when I'm really scared to do something that scares me. And I look at Nick and I think, if Nick can speak, run a business, get married and have kids and live his best possible life with what he's got going on, what's our excuse? Honestly, seriously, we just don't have an excuse. So all I'm saying is, with love, guys, we very often need to check at what we want to do to push through to get a better result going. Bit motivational, but you get the point. Okay.
Just people that haven't heard of Nick, he's got no arms or legs, has he?
None, no. And he's a motivational speaker trainer. He wanted to commit suicide when he was younger. Admittedly, he found God, which is entirely up to him. But he wanted to get married. He wanted to have as full life as he could. And all I'm saying is, guys, if he can do it, we can do some things that we need to do. Now, if anyone wants some help, guys, for those of you who do want to talk further to me, I'm in the business of helping people. What I can do is this. I've put a couple of things together for you. The first thing is I do a business review growth planning session. It's a couple of hours. It's very detailed. It's private. We will go through any concerns, gaps you may have. We'll figure out what target you want to go for. If it's money, we'll build your 7-pillar system together and find the gaps. I'll make recommendations. If we feel there's a way that we can work together with my various programs, the way I work is we have to figure out that it's going to deliver an ROI for you. I don't just do motivational training. I'm a sales trainer. So I work on getting my clients more money in the bank, and that's my thing, right? And I deliver. And either way, it's a really powerful session. And I've helped a lot of people in this space. I'm not saying I'm the best, use me, don't use me, but I'm very good at this whole thing around building a thorough lead gen and sales growth strategy. And for your time, I will also be giving you a copy of the book that I've just written, From COVID-19 to Thriving, which has all this strategy stuff in it that we've gone through tonight and more. If you want to buy a book, I can put a link in the chat if you want, Nick, or email it to them. It's all of $33. I know it's a lot of money, and a lot of people are thinking, shit, do I buy a bottle of wine or do I read a book on how to change my whole business? It's a very important decision to make. I know it's tough, but I'm being a bit cheeky, guys. And Lulu, where it's published on, they've got a 15% discount off till the 17th. So it'll cost you all of about $22. And it's got all the scripts and a whole lot of valuable stuff, guys. So if you want a copy of the book and you want to buy it and own it, it's printed and delivered to you. So that's another way for you to get these changes going. I'll send that link over later. Now, there's another thing that Nick and we discussed today. If you are really interested and you fit the criteria, government funding has opened up to $10,000, where Nick and I will, if you fit this criteria, from a lead gen sales growth strategy, we can apply for funding so we can do work with you and for you in this area, and the government pays for your lead gen and customer sales growth. We have to have a basic criteria. You've got to have a minimum of 2 employees, including yourself. You've got to be registered for GST, and your revenue has to have been shown to be hit by COVID. And we can discuss if you meet those criteria and you want to work on this sales growth and lead gen stuff. And now I'm going to stop talking for a minute, and we're going to spin the wheel and give a couple of books away, Nick.
All right. So 2 things. If you drop the link into chat for people to buy the book, which would be awesome, and we're happy to email it out tomorrow as well. And for the draw, so what is it you're giving away, Trevor?
I'm giving away a trip to Europe and all expenses are private jet. No, Nick, I'm giving away a couple of my printed Do You Want Customer Sales and Money books. I'm giving away.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you just unshare your screen, I will share my screen, and we've got a unique way of drawing this.
Okay, and I'm just putting the book link in there if anyone wants to really invest in themselves and buy a book. Okay, so share. Yep.
All right. So what we've got is, hopefully everybody can see the wheel. Just give us a thumbs up that you can see the spinning wheel.
Yep.
You can. Fantastic. So we have everybody's name in here. And so we'll spin the wheel, and the rules are, as ever, you have to be here to win it. If you're not here, then we just redraw it. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel.
So who spins it? You do or they do?
I've done it.
You've done it.
The winner is Leah Smerling.
Boom.
Fantastic.
Well, Leah,
is Leah here, first of all? Let's just check she's here. Or has she ducked off?
That's all right. Well, she can still get a book.
All right.
Let's do a couple more. Let's do 2 more.
2 more. All right. So let's just make a note there. So we've got Leah, and let's spin it again. And David Letitia.
David Letitia is not allowed to have a one because he's already too smart and he's got a book. David, do you want a book and give it to someone? Yeah. Shit, he might be upset that I just did that. I think he'd be cool though.
I don't think he's here. Okay.
Tracy Tully. Pick me.
All right, and we got 1 more, is it?
Yep.
All right, let's go another. And Joanne Russell. Is Joanne here?
And she's got a great surname too.
Absolutely, yeah. So Joanne's here as well too. So fantastic.
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
My pleasure. So guys, I just want to close with a couple of quick words. If you want to have a chat and do the business review growth strategy session with me, put a yes, Trevor, I'm in the chat so Nick and I know, and I'm more than happy to book as many of you in to do that. There's no limit. I want to help as many people as I can. And if you want to do that, please put yes, I'd like to, Trevor. And if you want to talk about the funding, you can do that. And if you think, great, it was awesome, but I'm awesome and don't need any help, well, that's fine too. So, but remember, guys, a good conversation is always a good thing. So, yeah, I just want to say that. And Nick, do we open up for any questions with anyone if they want to ask me anything at this point?
Oh, look, happy to have questions. I know some people do need to duck off. Before you do, I'll just make an announcement about tomorrow. So tomorrow we have the business owners, the office hours. So office hours is an open discussion, and it's at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's on Zoom, and it's no agenda. It's really just a discussion about anything online, or apps wise, or website wise, or digital marketing, and there may even be a discussion that emanates out of the presentation tonight from Trevor. So we'll put the link into chat, so anyone wants to come along, welcome to join us. It's a bit like a coffee chat. If it was pre-COVID times, we'd be sitting around having a coffee somewhere. So it's just an opportunity to just really bounce some ideas off one another. So the link's in chat right now. And I'd like to say to you, Trevor, thanks very much for your time and energy tonight. And I'd have to say that you've reminded me of a whole lot of things that I used to do that I'm not doing right now. So, and they're really just sort of simple things to do as well too. And, some of it isn't just about sales. Some of it's just about, working out, what it is you want and having some sort of clear goals and direction. And it's just really simple stuff, just writing stuff down and just doing stuff. So thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure. And that's what I wanted to share with everyone, that this thing about sales, whether we call it sales, enrollment, connection, conversion, it is literally just one part of a whole process. So that's what I'm really pleased that you're here, because, if we can attend to all those little areas and do them a little bit better, the conversational part, well, that doesn't even have to be hard anyway when you know what you're doing. But thanks, Nick, because you just can't do the stuff we wanted to talk about conversion without the other stuff being included, especially the mindset.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Nick, with relation to some people, I can get in touch with those guys with you later, so I don't hold everyone up.
Yeah, we'll sort all that out. We'll save the chat here, so we've got the chat as well. And everybody else, remember, if you want those links and things, just remember to click those 3 dots at the bottom to save the chat. And so yeah, well, that sort of ends the formal part of tonight. So thanks everybody for coming along. And Trevor, if you're happy to hang around for anyone that's got any questions or wants to chat further, then yeah, we can open it up. And if you've got a question, you feel free to unmute and let's have a discussion. For everybody else, thanks for coming.
Ask away, guys. I'm so worked up now. I won't sleep till 12 o'clock.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.